Friends, Ronan's countrymen, lend me your ears. I have come to bury Caesar, not to praise Caesar. Again, so ends my nightly thespian practice. Anyway, that said, well, hello, hello, hello. This tonight is the beginning of a commissioned portrait that I'm about to do. And I will begin to do it in a matter of moments after I get these polychromes put away. So excuse me for a moment. Oh. Thank you, Odette. Many thanks. I seem to have had a typical artist malfunction here, for me anyway, of trying to put stuff away when it is against my nature. Well, I think that is about doing it. Well, I hope. Because right now I'm not going to be using any polychromes, so I don't want them all over and mixing with the regular colored pencils. And as usual, I'll have to figure it out later. Packaging is an anathema to me. It is sworn enemy number one. Anything that comes in the package is instantly a mystery to yours truly. Why this is, I have no idea. I'm trying to get this. Lord, I didn't realize it was going to be so high. Well, let's see. Oh, it's not that far off. Okay. So we're doing the face. You can see the face, I hope. I'm going to push this back a tad. Oh, I guess it's already pushed back as far as it's going to go. I'm going to push the camera back a tad. And the camera is about as far back as it wants to go. Well, Horatio, what are you going to do now? Well, there's a face so far. I'll figure something else out. I do actually want to trim it here, so that shouldn't be a problem. And in the interim, I want to do a couple of color changes. What I've done is that I'm planning now to do a Vermeer type portrait. And Roberto, thank you very much for subscribing. That was very nice of you. Appreciate it. Anyway, this is a commissioned portrait. So, you're going to see it in the total. Now, the style that I'm going to do it in is the style of Vermeer. The reason I say that is on this side of the picture. See my hand flicker there? It is very light. In other words, light is coming in this way. On this side, it's more, the light is more subdued, and I've created a little different tone on this side. And the reason for that simply that Vermeer always moved from left to right, and I see no reason to change the, because he always set everything up basically in a studio. Usually he had a big picture window that was incredible, and he did all his artwork in this studio. Now the studio can be seen. It really isn't probably the studio in his paintings that it looked like, because he changed things. He put in marble floors and all that neat stuff, and you know, do you blame the guy? You know, no, I don't blame him. Anyway, he's an artist. He does what he wants. Anyway, so saying Vermeer, it will mean it's a play on light, truly a play on light. The commissioned photo I have that I arranged pour moi, myself, is actually a shot that I took. So it's not as if it doesn't it wasn't set up to be exactly the way I wanted it. Now I have removed quite a bit of the graphite for this, and the reason simply is that because it's very subtle tones, I'm taking the transfer of my sketch, which is kind of basic, to be honest with you, because I didn't want to get too involved in the sketch part. The reason simply is that when it comes to like a painting, I don't want too much detail in the sketch, because then you don't know if it's a sketch of a painting. You know. Anyway, that's the logic behind it. So I've taken off basically all of the graphite. So I sketched it out. I sketched it out on paper in blue. Then I used graphite to used the regular lead pencil just for what I wanted and got rid of all the details, and then just transferred the outline to here. Now what I am going to do is underpaint it with marker. Now Letraset, voila, is a marker company that really and truly, they do a remarkable job. But I've had these, you know, for a long time. Come in shale, pastel, pink, blossom, coral, vanilla. They have a incredible amount of colors, as you can see on the back of it. Just so you can get these. You can get them still, I think. I'm not 100% sure. I haven't bought them for so long. But Letraset is a big company, so you think they're still around. But if you can't, see, I'm saying that because I haven't seen Letraset for a while. Mind you, again in saying that, I haven't looked. So there's the conundrum. I haven't looked. So, be that as it may, I'm going to use these two colors, which are the Blossom and the Pastel Pink. This girl has what they call, well, for lack of a better name, I guess you'd call it Northern European skin, Scandinavian English, that kind of. She's French. What I mean by that is she's from France, and she has the skin toning of the Northern French. So, that said, I'm going to begin. Now, again, in order to facilitate, I have put down the background colors as I stated, and airbrush them in. Normally in an oil painting, obviously, I would paint them in, but this is not an oil painting. This is the second time I've done a portrait of this girl. It's for her mother. She's a lovely young woman. Actually, it even might be the third time. I've known her for so long, that's the thing. I've known the family for a long, long time. And that's probably, I can't remember I just don't remember, to be honest with you, if I did it third time. But I do know for absolutely for certain that I did her once before. But the third time, oh, I know what it was. Yes. Now I remember. It wasn't her, I did her mother. Her mother's a natural redhead, French. And, my God, what a lovely woman. I did her I think she was in her, I guess she would have been in her 20s as well. And the portrait I did her, it was kind of she was older than that when I did the portrait, but still saying that she was still a lovely woman, don't get me wrong, but when she was in her 20s, oh my God, sacre bleu, just stunning. Absolutely stunning. You're rich and you come to and Now I'm using the Blossom. So as I was saying the other night, what you have to remember is if you're using Prismacolor, if you're using Prisma, that when you put down a coat, if you will, of underpainting, what's really happening is you're putting down a couple of layers, and those couple of layers really can make all the difference. Putting a little bit of the Blossom over here. Made a big mistake there. No, not really. This is definitely, there we go. Yeah, bloomin'. Huh? Yeah. It's for her mother. She's gone where? She resigned?
I don't know why. After she said the white lie, she was told by her.
Wow, that's unbelievable.
Maybe she's swaying, giving her information wrong, and she said the white lie.
Wow. The rats are deserting the ship. That's unbelievable. Alright. The reason you're seeing a little bit of consternation on my part here is that I'm using illustration board. And although the colors are subtle, there should be some color, you know? There should be some. Oh, I have an idea. But of course. Don't move that, move the camera. Anyway, the reason you're seeing a little bit of hesitation is the color that's going down on this illustration board gray is a little, just a tad off my normal gray, and you know, you get used to it. That's the trouble. Like I've done like 20 some odd drawings or something. I don't know. But anyway, and it's not quite as pastel-y, reddish that I wanted. So I'm going to put another layer of, this is pastel from New Touch down, and see if I can get a color that an underpainting color that I want, because I can get the color, but it saves me an awful lot of layers. And saying that, it's much better if I get to do that, or even contrast against it, which is another consideration. And it's a little bit dicey in there. Just these huge, oh, that's much better. Ah, good. Ah. The pastel on the colors for Letraset, this does not mean there is any criticism of their colors, because they make excellent colors. But their colors are based on using them on white paper. And obviously I'm not using it on white paper. And since this paper is slightly different, it didn't quite catch what I wanted. So I simply used a more intense color here, which is from the New Touch, which obviously has more intense colors. Voila! So, voila! And away it goes. I know it looks a little hideous on the screen there, but brighten it up a little bit. But it isn't. You can rely on your rich girl too. And this is no, I'll stay out of those. Anyhow, regardless. Strange tonight, nobody. This is odd, to say the least. Let me just do this. Ah, okay. It hadn't refreshed. Ah, Laffy, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you. You know, I'll tell you a little weirdness that happened there. I was on yesterday's chat line. I'm looking at it and going, okay, but it doesn't look like there's any, what? And then what happened was I refreshed the page now, and here I see it, I see you, and thank you very much. But there wasn't showing anything, it was showing yesterday's chat. So I guess I had never refreshed the page. So now, you're hearing me, and I'm seeing you guys, so I can tell you, because I'm talking, and I'm going, where is everybody? But anyway, this is a commission portrait. So, just to recap, so I was a little thrown off there for a second by the illustration board. But it's a commission. It's going to be done in Prismacolor, Vermeer style, light one side, room grayed out on the other with a bit more of a yellowish white, so the light's getting a little brighter. Anyway, bright and then the darker light. And I'm doing it, I'm putting down some pastel. The Letraset didn't quite do it because it's an illustration board as opposed to the Stedler board. So the color took a little bit differently, so I was, what the hell's going on? But it wasn't Letraset's fault. I did new pastel, put it over the top, boom! It's ready and it's done. But I'm glad you guys are here. And yes, it's exciting because I haven't done it in a long time. A long, long time. I guess, boy, I'm thinking maybe 5 years or so. Well, maybe, yeah, at least 5 years. But you're going to see a portrait done here tonight. I don't know if I'll finish it tonight, obviously, but you're going to see a portrait started that, see how it's done from beginning to end, which is kind of neat in a sense, because if you're ever interested in portrait art, or you want to know how it's done, or you want to know how people do it, this is going to be the video to see. So I'm taking a little bit of a turn away from the characters ones. I've got others lined up to do the characters, but I have to fit this one in, and I was going to do it, and I thought, well, why not do it when you're watching, you know? You know? So, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put down a little bit of a green skin tone down here. By the way, the background is sprayed in acrylic, in case you're wondering. And the rest of it will be done in Prisma with a little bit of acrylic enhancement, I must say, where it's needed. The last one I did of this, I think it was an oil painting, if I'm not mistaken, but the one I did of her mother, I did in graphite. It was, and I'll tell you, I was very happy with the results. And so was her mother. Because it was a picture that I took it from that had been about 20-some years old, so I was able to capture it. And if you know, well, maybe a little bit longer than that, because it was a film picture. So when did film die? Film died mid-90s or something? Oh, something like that. I know I had a digital camera in 1999. That was just when they first came out. I had I think it was a Casio, and it would only take pictures 320, which was pretty low. I mean, so while I love the versatility of not having to use film and all that stuff, the picture quality, yeah, was terrible. So not long after, they started bringing out the higher and higher resolutions. But I held on faithfully to my film. I had a Canon 650 EOS, and oh, it was a wonderful camera. I had all the lenses, everything I possibly need for doing a lot of photography that I've done over the years. Oh, something else that came up. It was out of the blue, didn't solicit it, just arrived in my emails. There's a magazine in New England who wants to put one of my paintings on the front cover. And I kind of felt bad in a way, because I first read it, I went, you know, there's these companies out there who kind of want you to, they kind of prey on artists in a sense, in the sense that you think that they want you, but what they want you to do is subscribe to them and all this stuff. So I went, oh God, here's another one. So I sent her a letter, very terse, just saying, how much does this cost? Figuring, well, the minute they said it, I was just saying, well, no thanks. And then at the end of that, because you never know who you're ticking off, right? So you don't want to be you don't want to be rude, so you just That's how I handle it anyway. So anyway, the editor immediately emails me back and says, no, it doesn't cost anything. We just want your picture for the front cover. And I went, really? Okay. And she tells me the picture, and no, yes, it was the best-selling print I've ever had. So it doesn't surprise me, and it doesn't surprise me they want it for the New England, because it's a summer picture, but that's where their published date is. So I will be on the cover. Not me, but my painting will be on this. A watercolor painting of two little girls running towards the ocean on a boardwalk. It's called Sisters, and it's a painting that has been very popular over the years. And as I said, I can't even begin to tell you the number of prints I sold of it. I still have the original. I'm a little loath to sell the original because it's, you know, that brings its own set of problems. Mind you, it's priced right, so who knows? Now, onward and upward. So as I said, the skin is a peachy color. And I'm putting this down over the gray. I must say this paper is slightly rougher than the Strathmore paper, so I will just adjust tactics a little bit here and put something on the bottom of my hand which tends to drag, which drives the commander. I know, Scott, drives him crazy, but I'm one of those artists, no matter what happens, I wear the damn paint. All of a sudden I look down and I've got acrylic all over the front of me. How does this happen? Well, it's happened for so long that I know only to wear old clothes when I'm doing it. Now, not so much with Prismacolor, obviously, but even when I'm not doing Prismacolor, even when I'm not, I do a little bit of highlighting in acrylic. Well, guess what? Yes, you guessed correctly. I get a good dose of acrylic on my clothes, as per normal. How? I have no idea. It is a mystery. I do not know how it happens. If I did, I would correct it, but I just do not know. Somehow I have some sort of a mental block when it comes to that stuff. I don't know. And I finished off of that Perfect World in the silk, and very happy with it. My student came. My art student was here this afternoon, and gained approval. He's an art student, but he's a gamer too. He loves video games. God, he loves video games. He's the one who kind of guides my hand. You guys do, and he does. If if you give me a suggestion, I go look. Like some of the stuff that I found, like from you guys, is just amazing. I didn't even know those images and were out there in these games, and oh wow, it's really, really good. But he's the one who I think originally pointed me to the God of War, and some others. I don't know what it is, but I seem to just forget the name of the game the minute for some reason though, A Perfect World sticks in my head. I don't know whether it's don't ask me why. Don't ask me why. Well, I can tell you right now the difference between this illustrated page. I haven't used this brand before. And the reason is it came from Sheridan College, where you've heard me mention before, where the school that Disney supports, Pixar and Disney supports. And from the art store in there, and my student goes there, so I say pick me up some illustration board, and he does, but I haven't used this brand. I don't know. And stupidly I'm thinking, well, illustration board's illustration board. Well, like watercolor paper, no it's not, but so far so good. I was explaining to him today how it's a God-given right of art instructors to pull the leg of art students. I mean, it's just the way it is. He goes, "You got to be kidding me!" The kid's so serious. I say, "Well, yeah. Didn't you know that?" So I'm pulling his leg, right? He never picks up on it. He never picks up on it. Yes. But that's not fair. I go, yes it is. I said, look, in my day, my art teacher used to hit me with a strap if I screwed up. He goes, no way. I said, yeah. Like you'd get beaten silly. He goes, no way. I went, oh yeah, absolutely. He says, so, well, that won't happen anymore. I said, well, no, of course not. It would be assault now, but in those days, they could. And I said, one time she pistoled at me. Then he looked in my face and went, oh, okay, I get it. You're pulling my leg, right? I said, yeah, it took you long enough to figure it out. But, yeah. Fun. It's just that they're so intense, like over their art. So intense. Like it was a scream, his family every Christmas, well, just after Christmas, I should say, takes a cruise in the Caribbean, a family cruise. On one of those gigantic boats. I don't know. They take a different one every year, so don't ask me which one it is. But so what happened was up here is that Sheridan College had a strike. Teachers, professors, and whatever the union was, I don't know, went on strike, and the students were at a school for like, I don't know, 10 weeks or something. Well, it got to the point where the kids were going to lose their year, and the government stepped in, and I don't know what they did. I didn't follow it that carefully, to be honest with you. So anyway, they stepped in and back to school. Well, some of the kids, what's happened is they had to shorten the school year and pile more in and make spring break shorter, and on and on and on and on. Anyway, so he's on a cruise normally when they made an extra week for him to go back, right? Some do the catch up work. And so that's exactly the time his family is going on the cruise. So he's in a full-fledged panic. So I said, well, don't panic. You know, I mean, even if we have to pull an all-nighter, we'll get it all done. Don't worry about it. You know, it's just the way it is, and whatever the job is, you get it done. That's what you do if you're an artist, right? You get it done. Drink lots of coffee, or take 2 aspirins, don't rest in bed, and drink plenty of liquids, as long as it's not alcohol. Anyway, so I told him all this before he left. So he has this major project. So I guess he didn't check before he left on the cruise. He told all his teachers, but he didn't check. So he finds out while he's on the cruise that this major project is due like 2 days after he gets back from the cruise. So I don't know where they were, like Costa Rica or something, I don't know, but they were on the boat. And I get this frenzied message from him, text message. Oh my God, I didn't realize it's this date. I'm counted wrong. Oh my God, what am I going to do? He's having a full-fledged panic attack while he's on a boat floating around the Caribbean. So I'm up here and I'm going, for God's sake, kid, will you just relax? So I think I wrote, will you stop panicking? Will you please just stop panicking? I'm here. The minute you get back, we'll fix it. No big deal. We'll have it done. Don't worry. So after about 20 minutes of texts back and forth, he finally goes, so we can get it done for sure? I go, not even for sure. Guaranteed. After I told him to pray for my health. Anyway, it was 20 minutes, at least 20 minutes of, oh my God, what am I going to do? But you know, if you're 18 and you're listening to this, don't take offense, but typical 18-year-old. But anyway, I laughed. Typical. Well, I'm laying the color down bit by bit. Now there's some incredible light that's coming through here that I want to capture. And it's so bright, it's basically washing the color out of her face, but I'm going to put color back in just to prove that Vermeer was a genius. So Vermeer would have started off also in grisaille, which really I've done the same thing. The green on the gray is the grisaille. God, I made a rhyme. Anyway, That basically gives me the grisaille I'm looking for. And that's why I put that green down on top of the gray. Normally I would have made it more of a gray green, so it would have been probably the color of the actual paper on canvas. But this is not on canvas. This is on illustration board, which is fine stuff to work on, I must admit. Very fine. I want to go over here and start getting this light in. Now, these usually do not take me very long, to be honest with you. By any virtue that I've done so many of them over the years. The trick to it is simply just having it all worked out. Ahead of time. So then really what you've got finally is the application. And the application is the whole thing. Bit of overspray there. What else is new? I'll leave that for now because her lips are perfect, but I want to get it just right. So I was up late last night, and just before I decided to go read for a while, because I'm a nighthawk, I just flipped over onto the Twitch, and I was hosting somebody, and I watched her for a while, and I couldn't figure it out. She was drawing on a tablet, and her hands looked like they never actually moved. I know that sounds weird, but she'd throw her hands up and something was done on the tablet. I couldn't figure out how she was doing that. Then I figured, oh well, maybe there's a delay. But then she delayed a lot, and then I don't know. I still haven't figured it out. Like what's going on? Like how is she rendering this? In other words, like, how you doing? No-handed. Like, it just doesn't make sense. And I don't know. I mean, the drawing was good. Actually, I liked the picture she was doing. She had a picture up there that she was doing, and it was monotoned to a beige clay, and it was really striking. I liked it. I would have done it. To be honest with you, I liked it that much. But again, I didn't understand how she was doing it. How? I don't know. But such is life. my old man money, rich girl, but you're gone too far. You can rely on this money, your old man. Da, 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 da. Da, da, da. And my friend Scott rescued me again. God love him. My airbrush work. Oh. The one I've had in a bag for 5 years, well, he got it back together and it worked perfectly. Perfectly today. God. I just zoom, zoom, zoom. Because I'll be honest with you, getting a background in with an airbrush is not only really, really fast, but it gives you a really nice look too. And I really like not just the speed, but the look you can, the look you want to get. And it doesn't take you a donkey's years either, because if you do it in Prisma, you got to get out your art sticks and do the layers of Prisma, and the art sticks are friendly, but not that friendly. And so he saved me bacon. He saved me from a life worse than oh man, my rich girl, but you've gone too far. You can rely on. I was wondering where the layered point would come up. I'm just getting to it now. So that's equivalent of about 7 layers. Wow. That is toothy paper, I gotta tell you. I gotta tell you, it really is. Wow. Maybe I should get more of this stuff. Mind you, I think I have. Oh, yeah, I got more. I have more. Hey, is that a zombie? Yeah, it is a zombie. But if you bear with me for like another 10 minutes, it'll actually turn into a human being. I promise you that. It's the underpainting of a portrait. And I'm building the layers up one by one. But right now, yes, it looks like a zombie. But it won't shortly. But one doesn't want to rush those colors up because you want the layering in so it looks natural. and I will guarantee you three Bob, that when it is complete, the skin will look so beautiful that you'll think you're looking at a Bergerac painting. Who's one of my heroes, by the way. Yeah, man, this is the Aspire Pocket X. It's my second one I've had. I broke the first one. I really like this. This is vanilla and glycerin, vegetable glycerin, which is my flavor of choice. As a matter of fact, now I do admit, I once in a while break down. Okay, don't fall over laughing. I do once in a while break down and go get myself some Cuban cigar vape. There's a guy up here who makes, what he does is, you can get Cuban cigars in Canada, right? So what he does is he gets Cuban cigars and he soaks them in a barrel, and then what he does is he strains out all the whatever. Thank you, Breezy Lab. I appreciate that. And you can hear the applause, I hope, because that is exactly what I mean. And you're right. I'm looking at it now. She does look like a zombie, but this is where you should be looking, because that's where the skin's going to come in. But right now, yeah. God, I should take a picture of it now. She'll kill me if she sees it like this. Okay. Sooner or later, she'll see it. So what he does is he puts it in like a barrel and some process he uses, but it comes out and he does the flavor and it tastes just like a Cuban cigar. It's unbelievable. Now because the process is so involved, he asks a lot I think for the vape, but so I don't get it every day or anything like that, but I'll tell you, it's a treat. But normally it's just vanillas I like. I just like it. I don't know. I mean, if you're a vapor, I like this one because it just fits in your pocket. Yeah, that's why they call it the Pocket X. And they've changed their before to recharge it was on the bottom, which was a real pain in the butt. But now they've moved it and they've put it on the side so you can let it stand up when you're charging it, which means way better. So at least they've improved the product. So it just shows me the company has some interest in what it's doing. You make an improvement. N'est-ce pas? Mais oui, n'est-ce pas? Okay. Oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man. That is going to be hard to catch. Well, yep. This is the shadow part of her. No, it's not dark enough. That means I have to put on another layer. Je comprends. If I could find the button. if any of you know Ghost, but he just got a set of Prismacolors. His first set ever. He bit the bullet and said, okay, I'm going to give these a try. Mind you, I did give him the warnings. Be prepared for breakage, poor quality control. I didn't tell you that. I even went up to the art store, and I didn't complain. I didn't complain. I just said in passing to them, to the artist that was working in the store, an older lady. I said, is there many complaints about Prismacolor? She goes, yeah, fairly many. I said, is it about breakage? She went, oh yeah. She said, one time we had to send back a whole shipment. I went, you gotta be kidding me. You had a whole shipment of them? She went, yeah, we sent it all back. And they replaced them all. Which at face value sounds, well, it's a company stands behind their product. But then I'm going to myself, how did that product get out of the factory? Who's looking to see if they're okay? I mean, you don't go to a car lot and the guy's got 200 cars sitting in the car lot and every one of them is a lemon. I mean, come on. That's not the way it works. So how did it get out of the factory? Somebody's not paying attention. Anyway, I'm in the process of writing a letter to the Prismacolor, Sanford, I think it is. But in the back of a box somewhere I read Rubbermaid. Don't ask me where, but I did. I went, oh my God, maybe that's the reason. The company owns it, could care less, Okay, so we're getting a little zombie look out of here, Breezy. I hope you I hope you approve. Zombie look is slowly leaving us as the skin tones continue to go on unabated. So tomorrow is Thursday already. I do not know where the week goes, I swear. It just goes like a flash, like zoom. Like God almighty. And I gotta tell you, I'm getting older here, like oh my God, okay. For those who I didn't show before, the one on the left, my left, is a Prismacolor Scholar. I knew there was one kicking around somewhere. And the one on the right is a Premier, which basically all are. I knew I had one. So anyway, those are the two Tencels, and as you can see, size-wise and whatnot, there isn't that much difference. As a matter of fact, I'm going to use that so you can see the color laid out, so I can really give you a first-hand account, because I keep telling people, but in fairness, I haven't used them in so long that I shouldn't be telling people, really. I should be telling them from what I remember, you know. What I remember. You can rely on me. You can rely on your romance money. The zombie. Now you see the glow starting on her skin. Zombie on the left, skin color on the right. Ah. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Endlessly. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Wait for me, if you please. Da 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 da. Da dee 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 dee. Da da. Da da. Da da. Da da. Da da. In San Francisco. Go halfway to da la da 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 da. Go halfway to the So what I'm doing now is I'm mixing, matching some facial tone colors. And I had meant to get out, I just bought a portrait set so I'd have them all right in front of me. But it wasn't until I started streaming that I realized I hadn't got them out, so what are you gonna do? I should have a list, like a big list, you know, of things I've got to do before you start the stream. This, because really, here I am digging for colors when I have all the colors that I need in one place. But I know, I'll say it's more of a challenge. It's not, but sounds good. Now there's a little highlighted yellow you saw me put up the nose there. What you want to do is, if you come back in, is you want to just gently use your skin tonings to just blend a little bit of it away so you don't see a streak of, well, it's not yellow, it's cream, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean? You know what I mean. By the way, in the interest of full disclosure, I will tell you that she has a nose ring, and I asked her mother's permission. If I was going to do her portrait, I would not put in the nose ring, and her mother said, absolutely not, don't put it in. I said, thank you. Now, if you like nose rings, I have nothing against them, but not everybody looks good in a nose ring. And the trouble is, the people that normally don't really look that good in a nose ring often have a nose ring. I don't know why that is. But you see, to my generation, it's got some really negative connotations to it. And yeah, I'm sure you want to know why. Well, the only thing that had a nose ring was a bull. Like a bull, like a bullfight bull. They had a nose ring. So every time I see one, I go, oh my God. Now the reason they would put it in a nose ring in a bull was because it was the only place you could put something on a bull to control what you wanted them to do, because they're very, very ill-tempered animals. So a nose ring meant control and even expression, like you lead them around by the nose, you know? Yeah, that kind of thing. So that's what it is. So it's nothing personal. It's just that it's got a negative connotation to me, or I guess to some people my age anyway. So if you wonder why you get such a bad reaction sometimes to nose rings, that's the reason. Da, 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 da. By the way, if you're going to do this for any reason, or you're contemplating doing a portrait, I would suggest, okay, what you do is do a 3/4 portrait like this is. Don't do a full portrait. These tend to lend themselves better to 3/4 portraits. It's the same as with watercolor. In my opinion, watercolors are much better at 3/4 portraits. If you want to get into a full-size portrait, like that's the person, whatever, I would suggest you use acrylic or oils. That's just my suggestion. I think it would make life a little easier. Because one of the problems is you can run out of you can literally run out of medium on the, if you're using the wrong material, eh? That's the problem, and sometimes you won't like the result. Like, to me, an oil portrait doesn't look good if it's 3/4. But if you do it in a miniature, like they did in like the 18th century, they look great. So there's no rhyme or reason to it, really. But it's just taste, I guess. But you'll find you have more control on a 3/4 than you do on a full size. Now you may want to know why that is. Well, to be honest with you, I don't know. It's got something to do, I do know what it's got something to do with, however. It's got something to do with the detail in the painting. Look, in oil painting, the close-up detail isn't there. In watercolor and, well, especially colored pencil, the close-up detail is there. So you run into that problem. Now, that problem though does not mean that that is the answer every time. Because the reason I'm saying that is that you go to a guy like Vermeer who painted a little painting, oil painting 8x8, and it's unbelievable genius. You know? So the rule doesn't stand everywhere. That's what I'm saying. But I'm just giving you like a general rule. Mind you, what he could do with oil paints, man. As you get close to Vermeer, it's just as good as if you're far away. Now, if you go to Rembrandt, no, you have to be far away, because he knew what the eye would paint for the person looking at it, which is exactly what he did. And but then you get a guy like Vermeer who painted as if no matter what distance you're away, the details were all still there. So, you know, in other words, in a sense, you just can't win. Every situation has its own little unique situation, as they say. I was like, the Justine killing Marie Antoinette would be killing herself laughing. What did you just say? Will shine with me if I come home to you, San Francisco. If I come home to you, San Francisco, golden child. Golden charms will with me if you come home to me, San Francisco. Da 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 da. Jeez, I almost made a mistake there. The tuning's coming along lovingly, lovely, 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 lovely. To you, San Francisco. Your golden charm will shine with me. Will shine with me. Will Yes, I hear you. Have you gone mad? You're putting purple on her face. Have you lost your mind? Monsieur, have you lost your mind? What are you doing? What nonsense is this? Are you totally gone mad? No. I'm establishing some shadow, which on white skin will cast purple. If you're doing black skin, you cast a blue tone. Just for reference sake, you cast the blue tone, and then you'll be happy. To you, San Francisco, my goal will shine with you. Da, 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 dee, dee. Dee, 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 dee. Dee, 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 dee. Dee, 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 dee. Dee, 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 dee. Da, da, da. Da, 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 da. Go halfway to the star. Da, da, you come to me, San Francisco, my goal will shine on me. Can't you see it? In San Francisco, on the hill where I come from. Star. With me, can you see that you da, 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 da. Dum, da, da, da. Da, 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 da. Can't you see? Sorry folks, had to open a window. It is so hot in here. How hot is it? Well, it's so hot to you. my hand is sticking to the plastic in my arm. That's how hot it is. It's driving me crazy. I gotta get this out of here. It's throwing off my eye. There. Thank God. You know, I hate to say it, but she just doesn't have. She's got such fair eyebrows that they're just a hint, and I think I've put too much in. I think I'm gonna have to just put them in later. So, although they're there, dun, 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 there goes something. Where was she by me? In San Francisco. Where you belong. Run halfway to the stars. Will shine with me. Run halfway to the stars. My own home will shine for me. halfway to the stars. You come home to me, San Francisco. Well, thank you, OBS. This cable car, run halfway to the stars, and you come home. To me. Oh, come shine with... Oh, you disconnected me again, eh? Okay. Oh, shine with me. Oh, I lost the crew. Ooh. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Seemed to be some net congestion problems there for a minute. I don't know what exactly the problem was, but I hope everything is back to normal. I noticed the signal was lost somehow, and then it was miraculously refound by the miracle of modern technology. wonder what that was. San Francisco. Oh, God. Now this is a color I've added to my portrait grouping, which is, as far as I know, a really new color. I hadn't heard of it before, but I saw it and in the art store, and I went, voila, I need that color. Okay, so it's called Seashell Pink. I'm not familiar with the color at all, but it does a wonderful job of blending purpley pinks together towards a more uniform flesh tone. It actually will lighten it up so your shadows just aren't quite so dramatic, because this is a in the light picture. Remember I said it was Vermeer style? Well, that's what it is. So you don't want those like backlit portrait shots, you know. This is a different type of painting. And I'll be honest with you, I'm delighted with the color. I haven't seen it in any other set that I have. Maybe it's available on other brands, I don't know. Like I have, my brands of colors are, I bought, well, a while ago, so I just replace as I need them. That's kind of why I moved away from the polychromes, frankly. It's because you can't easily replace the blasted colors. You can with Prismacolor, but you can't replace the polychrome colors. You have to buy a new set again. And that is, I think, really I mean, I understand the economics of it, but as a consumer of said products, I'm not a happy camper. Because I don't necessarily need all the colors. I only need a couple of ones that have gone by the wayside. Now, what I ended up doing when I was using more polychromes was replacing them with Prismacolor. Then I finally said, to hell with this, and just completely went back to Prismacolor. But I have them. I mean, I do. You've seen me use them here, so it's not like I don't use them. But they're, that one little problem is a huge problem for the artist, because, you know, what would happen if you could only buy oil paint in sets, and you couldn't get a color. So if you ran out of a color, well, you got to buy the whole set again. I mean, what kind of crap is that? I mean, when you think about it, I mean, that's not right, is it? Not to me, but maybe to some pencil neck somewhere. I got a great idea. We can get the artist to buy a new set every time they run out of a color. Oh, really? No, that's a great idea. How long do you think that'll last? Oh, forever. No, it lasts until they ran out of the color and found out they couldn't get another one. Ding. Now, even with Prismacolor, even with all its flaws, I will admit that there's lots of flaws in terms of quality, control, and whatnot. But at the very least, and that's another thing. When I was at the art store the other day, talking to that lady who was the person in the art department. Anyhow, I said, you know, look at this. So I showed her a bunch of pencils. Brand new pencils for sale that should not even have been on the shelf. I said, look at this. So I showed her about 3 out of the ones I've been going through, which I discarded not to buy. I said, look at where the barrels are. Like, you can't even sharpen this pencil. And she went, oh my God. She said, well, I don't use Prismacolor. I said, well, I do, and let me tell you, you're going to have an unhappy customer. And she said, I'll take all those out. I said, well, you should, because it's not right. An unsuspecting person goes in to buy them and finds out that all the colors he bought he can't even sharpen. Like, I don't think so. And I don't mean a little off. I mean like they were a lot off. So I kind of gave her my 2 cents worth anyway. It wasn't her fault. Don't get me wrong. I wasn't snarky. No, make it clear. Nothing to do with her. But I said, you know, this is stuff that shouldn't be out, and it should be caught by the staff who works here. No, I didn't say that. But anyway, that was the implication. Yeah, her comeback was honest enough. I don't use Prismacolors. Well, okay, but, you know, if you're working somewhere, this is my feeling anyway. If you're working somewhere, you should have a basic product knowledge, you know, like, of what you're selling or what you're doing. Like, come on. I want to buy this new piece of this new airbrush. Could you just tell me a couple things about it? No. What do you mean no? Oh, I don't know. I've never used an airbrush. Okay, so let's use that in a different connotation. You go buy a new car, or whatever you want to buy, and then you go to the car lot and you say to the guy, well, okay, what's the engine this one? I don't know. Well, can you get it in 2 doors? Well, how would I know? It's not in the lot. I don't know. Doesn't have an engine in it. Beats me. They all run, but I think so, because they all run. Okay. Is there a warranty? What's that? You see what I mean? How do you start it? Well, I got this little fob thing here, but I can't figure out how to use the key, so I don't know where it is. But I'm going to ask somebody, and then I'll go back and they'll help you. So what do you think? You think you're going to buy the car? Not from you, you idiot. You know, you see what I'm saying? Just not the way you do business. Just have a little product knowledge. It's not a lot. You don't have to be carried away here. Just a little wee bit. Just a little, just, you know? Please, you know, like, oh yeah. Then she says to me, there's a brand there that's on the being advertised, and it was on sale, and it was a really good price. There were markers. I go, oh man, they look like Copics. Are they a copy of a Copic? She went, no, that's our own brand. I said, oh, you mean like the store's brand? She went, yeah, it's the store's brand. I said, well, are they as good as Copic? Like, you know, like, conversation wise? I don't know. She said, probably not. You know, it's our own brand. Jesus. I don't know about you, but if I was her boss, I'd be going, time for some retraining. The answer should be, well, you know what? For the price, they're good. I mean, you're not going to get as good as Copic because obviously you're paying for an excellent product, but they're good. Like, you know, like for the price, it gets the job done. There's the answer. I mean, God Almighty. I mean, what is going on out there? And I guess this is happening because, you know, guys, I don't know, I don't get out that much because I know what I want and I order it. And then when I had my art academy and gallery, if I needed stuff, I just ordered it. I didn't go to the store. And I think that's part of the problem. I never went to the stores. So you find out that real fast that it's a wasteland out there. You can see why, though, the manufacturers go, no, I think I'm just going to design the product that sells itself. I'm not going to rely on any Dummkopf to try to sell my product for me because they're hopeless. Well, she was a nice lady, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to say there's anything wrong with her, but you should have some good product knowledge. You know, if you're selling something, if that's your job, then find out about it. Get some opinions. Like, there's people in there every day buying stuff, you know, like, and you could say to them, well, what do you think of that product? Did you find it as good as da-da-da-da-da? You know, like, and just take like a straw poll. Like, if you just don't care, or you're just a person who's putting stock back in the shelves, and you know what? Sooner or later, you're not going to have a job because there's going to be a machine that can do that. But what the machine can't do is say, you know, like, oh yeah, well, you know, I have used them, and this is the positives, this is the drawbacks, like first-hand knowledge. That you can't replace, and that is what you need to do. Not just think your job is filling up the shelves. Because if that's what you think your job is, you're not long for a job. And that brings people back. You know? Because my answer would have been, you know what? I mean, if I was somebody who didn't know what they were doing, I would have simply said to the person, you know what, why don't you buy one Copic? Just one, because you can buy them at one at a time. And buy a couple of these that are close in color. And when you get home, test them out. See what you think. And you know, if they're really good, let me know, please, next time you come back, because I'll recommend them. I mean, after all, they were like $3, and the the Copics were on sale for $8. So it's not like you're not doing your customers a favor by at least trying. You know, it just breaks me up. Well, it doesn't break me up. It kind of just saddens me, because the very people who couldn't give a damn are the very people who are going to be screaming like banshees when they find out some machine's been designed to put stock back on a shelf. Not right now, but it's coming. It's coming. And when it comes, I'm afraid that nobody's going to have anybody to blame but themselves, if that's the thing. Which is exactly opposite if you go into like the art, like in Toronto. If you want to go to the artist art store, it's called Wolfit. Well, if you walk in there, the people walking there can tell you things about products you had no idea. Like, I went in one time and I had a commission and I had to draw it on, I had to paint 3 panels on a round piece of steel, and it was big. It was about 3.5 feet across, and it was for a guy who was a collector of what it was is it was a giant saw from like a sawmill, like the blade. And a guy was retiring, and he'd worked in a sawmill his whole life. And what they wanted to do was get 3 pictures. I thought the idea was great, like 3 pictures that he'd recognize, you know, that meant something to him, and paint them in like a triptych, only in a circle, on the saw. I thought, oh, that is kind of a cool idea. Yeah, and I said, sure, I'll take the commission. But then as soon as I took it, I went, oh my God, I don't even remember painting on steel before. So I thought, well, I don't want to do all that work for nothing, right? I mean, who would? So I knew I needed a really good ground, and I couldn't find anywhere where it told me a good ground, except for commercial stuff, you know, like and I was doing an oil paint as well. So I couldn't find any commercial grounds that sounded like they were the least bit what's the word? Well, art related, say. I couldn't find any information anywhere that I looked anyway, and that included the internet. So I said, screw it. So I went down to Wolfit and I said, hey, here's what I need. I need a ground that will work very well on steel. I knew I had found the right place, because the first thing the guy said to me was, what kind of steel? I said, what do you mean, what kind of steel? He goes, well, is it stainless steel? I said, no, it's just steel. Sawmill, blade steel, that kind of steel. He went, oh, okay, I gotcha. And he goes over and he hands me a can of Gamblin, which is a manufacturing company, Gamblin ground. And the can was like, you know, when you buy gesso, it's like you buy the gallon, right? I mean, you just you just grab this stuff. This was like pardon me, this was like just a few ounces. I went, well, okay, how much do you know? He says, well, I know it's small, but he says, believe me, you don't need much. You'll get full coverage right off the bat. I went, oh, that makes a big difference, because, you know, with gesso, often you got to put 2 coats on. Personally, I like to put about 3 coats on when I'm doing a canvas. Pardon me, God, I swallowed water on the wrong pipe. Anyway, so I said, okay, thanks. And he was right. I didn't need much at all. I ended up with like over half of it left. In fact, I think I still got it. And it was, oh man, it was nasty stuff. It was oil-based. Smelled terrible. Like an industrial, like lacquer smell. But did it work? It really worked. And I read all the fine print and all that stuff on the product information list. And yeah, it was made exactly for metals, copper, steel. So it was a product exactly designed for what I was doing, which was really refreshing because obviously there was somebody else had gone down this road and there was a product available for it, which I thought was bloody good. So I used it and it worked perfectly. But you see, that's the difference. I go down to gambling, or not gambling, but the Wolfit, and they tell me exactly what I need. I didn't even bother going to the normal art stores because the first thing I'd get would be a blank look. You know, like, I don't know. Then I went into like one of the bigger art stores in Ontario, and they used to have an entire airbrush department because, you know, I told you I took apart my airbrush, and being mechanically challenged, I was unable to get it back together. It was worse than taking apart a watch. And if not for my friend Scott, it would still be in pieces. But I needed an airbrush. So I went to the stores and I'm looking for, I'm saying, where's the airbrush department? Oh, we don't have that anymore, sir. You don't have an airbrush department anymore? No. I said, oh, okay, and then I kind of said, like, why? He goes, don't know, but you know, like, cutbacks or something like that. Oh, so, fine. I'll find my own answer. That's the whole problem, though. See, people who need the answer will find it, and they won't go back to the place that told them. You know, hey, sorry, but it's just not there. You know, I can't help you. And it's like that everywhere. Like, then I use, I don't know what you'd call it. It isn't discrimination. It's the opposite of discrimination. So, I don't know what you'd call it. But when I go into Home Depot and I need something, like maybe I want some masonite cut up into 16 by 20s, 8 by 10s, 11 by 14s, 18 by 24s, you know. And I want the right size, thickness, whatever I need cut. By the way, if you're painting, that is the most inexpensive way to paint you can possibly imagine. The sheet 8 feet by 4 feet costs like $11 or $12. And Home Depot usually cuts it for free. So you can walk out with, I forget how many it is, like you're going to have at least 15, minimum 15 to 20 pieces of art to paint on for 12 bucks. How do you beat that? $1 a piece. And it's fabulous, beautiful smooth surface. My only recommendation is buy the spray gesso, not the paint on, unless you're really good at painting gesso on. I'm lousy at it, don't ask me why. I think it's because when I used to use marble dust and rabbit skin glue, it's a bit different for me and I find it too thin. Anyway, forget it. But I buy the spray stuff. It's a bit more money, but it covers really easy. And you go, done, one coat, and it works. So that is my recommendation. Take it for what it's worth. Oh, termination. Okay. So what I do is I walk in, and the first woman I see who's wearing an orange jumpsuit, you know, or overalls, or whatever the hell they are. Peach. Oh, nice. So, there's another color I just bought. Peach beige. I've never heard that color either. That would be, in case you're wondering, must be a new number. Let's see. Oh, 1085. 1085. Anyway, I asked the first woman I see, I need some lumber cut, please. Just some masonite. And instead of having to stand around waiting, invariably, first thing they do is, sure, I'll meet you there. Thank you. And by God, they cut it up just as good, because it's just a machine, right? I mean, it's not like they have to get out a skill saw or something. They just grab the damn machine and set it and go, and it's cut. And I know this. So I don't mean to say it's discrimination, but so I'm walking into the store, and the other guys are usually still standing there waiting for the guy to be finished with the guy who's asked them the question. Which is so stupid. I mean, there's no women out there who know how to do work. In fact, there's a woman that lives just down from me here, and she has her own contracting business. I got to know her, and young woman, and interesting, which she's actually an architect, and she hated it. That's why I said to her, I said, God, 7 years of school, and you hate it? And she went, I hated it. I went, okay. And she said, so I just started my own home renovation company, and I can do the plans and everything, one-stop shop. I said, oh, wow, so you must be in demand. I said, because that saves people a lot of money. I mean, you don't have to go to an architect to get plans, and you can get them right one-stop shop. You can do the plans, you can do everything. She goes, exactly. I said, well, you know what? Give me your card, and if I know somebody who wants to get something done, I'll let you know. Yeah, I've known her ever since. And she's really good. And she's really arty. Well, most architects are pretty arty, I gotta tell you. Mostly. You know, like, I think some are not anymore. There used to be, you have to basically be an arty person to get into architecture school, but I don't know if architecture school. I got a few kids in over the years who wanted to do that. Mostly they went to University of Ottawa, or no, Carleton University in Ottawa. That's where they went. But you had to have art training to get into the course, but I don't know if you still do. So it used to be that way, so I don't want to say it is because I don't know for sure. But yeah, she does. She's really handy. In fact, so handy. I said, if you need a couple of tools you don't have, just call me, because I do have a lot of tools, especially small wood tools. In other words, like I do a lot of carving, right? In Belize, I did a lot of carving. I haven't done any since I got home. That's all I've been doing is painting, because I wasn't as willing. I painted a lot, but I didn't paint like I am now. In Belize, I was doing carving too, because it was so damn hot that, man, you just never could get comfortable. Like, you know, when you're painting, you want a little comfort, you know, like, at least the temperature's got to be right. Oil paint wouldn't dry, drove me nuts. Take like 2 months to dry. With quick drying spray on it. With the spray on it. Can you imagine? 2 months. I had actually sold paintings that weren't dry yet. Like they were still tacky. So I did a quick change over to acrylic, and that solved a lot of problems in a hurry. Acrylics were okay, they dried fine. But then you couldn't get good acrylics. So I'd go into Mexico and they have their own brand of acrylic, and I was assured none of these are all artist quality acrylics. Yeah. Because the woman in the art store spoke English, and where I was going in Mexico. No, these are what all the Mexican artists use. This is it. Okay, so I bought everything I needed. Got them home, went to use them, and like hell, they weren't the same quality. And I don't mean quality, they went on fine. I don't mean that. What I mean is they weren't the same quality in terms of, you couldn't blend it as far. Like, my colors are pretty complex, so if the colors don't blend, then I got a problem. So it only told me they were holding out on the pigments and stuff. So anyway, I don't blame them. They're gonna make a buck like everything else, but don't tell me that. So I gave them all away, and I ordered from Amazon. Yes, even believe you get stuff from Amazon. Not directly, but you could get stuff, which was okay. You had to go through a third party to get them, but I got it. So I filled myself up with Liquitex and Golden. Put away my oil paints, and away I went. But that's the trouble, like, you assume and the woman, when I went back and said to her, you told me they were artist quality, and I tried them, and they just were not. I'm sorry, but this next time I was there a couple of months later, and she said, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I just went by what I don't know, whoever it was said." And I said, "Well, who's that?" She says, "Well, they paint." I said, "Well, are they like an artist, professional artist?" "Oh, no, it's my friend." I said, "Your friend thinks these are good?" She goes, "Oh, yes." I said, "Okay." So I guess there's some lady who paints on a Sunday afternoon who gave her thumbs up to the paint. They were equivalent of like the Reeves products, the Reeves acrylic paint. Fine for doing background stuff like that. Like, really, there's nothing wrong with them, but they're not. They break down when you try to mix the damn colors. That's the problem. It's mixing the colors. That's where I get a problem. And you can always tell the minute you're in the third color and it starts to turn gray, you go, "Oh God. Oh God." Anyway. And I think the reason it kind of annoys me in a way is because it wastes so much of my time. Like, I work out colors, right? Like, okay, this is a color I want here, and I figure out the mix, how I'm going to do it, everything's good, I'm ready to go, I set up the sketch, I've got everything worked out, I sit down to paint, mix the color, and nope, can't get the color. Why? The paint's crap. You see why it's so frustrating? So how do you get around that? Well, you buy good paint. That's how you do it. But you see, I didn't have any options down there. I mean, that was the trouble. Well, I ended up with options because I got it from good stuff from Amazon. name brand stuff, but they didn't have any local brands at all, which so I finally met not all of them I guess, but a good number of the artists in Belize. They all were acrylic painters, and they were a nice bunch of guys. All were drunk, so I don't know why that was, but every one of them was a drunk. They would paint until they had enough money, and then they would just drink until they ran out, and then they'd start painting again. That's how they operated. And they were very good. There's no question about it. They did underwater scenes and the tropical stuff. A lot of it was repeats, right? I mean, the same scene could be worked out 5 or 6 different ways, and what they would do is they would do that, and they'd have 4 or 5 paintings that all kind of looked different but weren't. I mean, it was the same elements in the picture, but they got away with it down there because, nobody knew who else had the painting until they happened to go into the house of somebody who went, "Geez, does that ever look like the painting I have at home?" But so and so said it was a one-off. You go, "Well, yeah, there's an extra fish in that one." God, they were something else. Anyway. They were something else. I remember I had one guy, every time he came out to my end of where I lived right on the ocean in this place called Consejo, and it was beautiful. It was right on the ocean, palm trees, banana trees, didn't have a neighbor, parked on one side and had an empty lot on the other. Oh God, it was beautiful. And then he'd come out and visit me, and he'd go, "Hey Paul, hey," he says, "you got any beer?" I went, "Oh yeah," because I always had booze down there because I had people dropping in on me, right? So he'd sit down and start talking to me about art and what he was planning and all this stuff. He'd say like, "Did you say you had beer?" I went, "Oh yeah, sorry." I go get him a beer. Well, this day comes, he downs this beer. If it took him more than 4.5 seconds, I think I'd be exaggerating. Like literally, gone. So I say, "Okay, would you like another?" And he goes, "Oh, see. So I get him another beer. Basically the same thing. So I said, at this rate, I wasn't going to have any beer left, and it was a good ride into town. So I said, would you be interested maybe in some rum?" And he goes, "Oh, see. Rum was like dirt cheap in Belize." So I said, "Oh yeah, okay." So I go get him rum, and I make him rum and coke, and I put like 2 ounces in it, figuring like, that's a good sized drink. 2 ounce of double, and he thanks me, and I go into the house to use the facilities. I come back, his drink's finished, and I go, 2 beers, two in all of 20 minutes. And I said, "Okay." I said, "So, what'd you do last night?" "Oh, I was with my cousin. We went out. We were having a good party." And I can understand now what's going on. So he's out visiting to get free beer and talk about art because he doesn't want to do anything that day. And I'm his target. So I said, "Oh, okay." So what did I do? I go into the house, and I took 6 ounces of rum and about 2 ounces of Coke and poured it in and handed him the drink. Well, he didn't drink that as fast. In fact, when he was done, in fact, that was the last drink he had. And when he was done, he staggered a bit when he got up. Now, I knew he wasn't driving because Belizeans don't usually have cars. And he goes, "Oh, it's good, good, good." Yeah, of course it's good. It got 6 ounces of rum in it. I mean, it didn't even look like Coke. It looked like watered down Coke. Anyway, so we talked art for another hour or so, and then away he went. But that's the kind of thing it was, right? But none of them, every single man of them, none of them could paint people. None of them. Funny, eh? I never found one of them could do a... As a matter of fact, I did a lot of repair jobs for them. Like, I'd have somebody call me and say, "You're Canadian, but you're an artist." Yeah, I'm an artist. Why? And they go, "Well, you know, I commissioned this painting from so-and-so, and my wife says the face just isn't right. Could you come down the street, here we are, could you look at it?" And I go in, I go, "Oh my God. Yeah, you weren't kidding." I go, yeah, it's, no, definitely. He says, "Well, can you fix it?" I go, "Well, yeah, I can fix it, but..." He goes, "Oh, we'll pay you, we'll pay you." I go, "Oh, okay, well, as long as you understand that, I don't work for free." He goes, no, if you can just fix it, I'd really, really appreciate it. And how much, and I'd say, "Oh, it's going to be this." And I'd never had anybody turn me down, so I must be, my prices were too low. But anyway, it was Belize. Anyway, so I'd follow them around, these guys, and I did it more than once. And Jesus, I don't know what the problem was, really. It was well, they were fabulous when it came to like animals and like jaguars and fish and sea turtles and all this stuff. I mean, really, they were amazing at it, and their compositions were good, and I was impressed with their work. And but then it came to people, and Jesus, mind you, I don't want to sound like I'm being super critical, and the reason is simply that there's no art schools down there. All these guys were completely self-taught, so believe me, that counts for something. But it was a scream. I did a mermaid. Oh my God. The guy had done a mermaid. And everything was good. Except when it came to the figure, my God, I never saw such a... The face especially. I never saw such a goddamn mess in my life. No wonder the woman was upset. However, that led to me getting... Actually, I did get paid for that. No, anyway, I don't remember how it happened. But there was this carver down there named Jason. And Jason was the most talented carver I've ever seen. The reason I started was to carve was because of Jason. It was a deal. I taught him painting, he taught me how to carve. Sounds like a fair deal? I thought so. Anyway, Jason, he was an amazing, amazing carver. And he had done these 2 huge Mayan masks. They were like 3.5 feet tall, all carved out of mahogany, and they were in a curve, like a tree, and they were completely carved. Like Pakal was one of them, the Mayan king, and oh man, they were beautiful. So we were at this place, and it was like an auction or something. I can't remember what it was for. It was like a charity auction. And I saw these, and I knew they were from Jason. I went, oh man, I'm wanting those. And I bided my time, and it was all cash, right? So I didn't go to the auction with enough cash. Uh-oh, I know, problemo. So it came up to a price where I didn't have the money on me to pay for it. So I went over to the woman with the mermaids and said, you know those mermaids, the mermaid I should say, that I'm painting for you? She goes, oh yeah. I said, you know what, if you cover me for that, then we don't have to exchange any money. You and I are square, and I'll just come over and fix it for you. She went, no problem. And I said, thank you. And so then I bid up with enough money to get them, and I got them. And I got them to right now. They're in a display cabinet, and they are magnificent, just unbelievable. And that's how you did it. That's how I did it. So it all started with the screw up of the mermaid ending up getting me 2 of Jason's spectacular, because I knew what he charged for those, and they were really expensive. Because what he would do is he would go out and get the tourist trade, right? Like the people coming into Belize from boats and stuff like that, and he would really charge. I mean, they'd see them and people would just open their wallets. I mean, because you couldn't get that kind of stuff wherever you were. You couldn't get it. I mean, not only was he a master carver, but it was pure mahogany, and oh man, it had all the nice, and it was a heart mahogany, so it had all the nice wood in it, you know, all that stuff. And, oh God, it was beautiful. But it worked out. Worked out just fine. Just fine. So in a way, those guys really did me a favor, those drunken artists. Now you can see I'm leaving some of the excess on the paint, on the actual surface here. And the reason I'm doing that is simply that I want to be able to pick up the excess when I'm using the blender. That's what I'm trying to say. That's what I'm trying to say. But Jason was a maniac with wood. And these guys would go out in the jungle, you know, and they would go get their own wood. They knew where the tree was, and they would go and get the mahogany themselves, and they wouldn't tell anybody where the tree was. I mean, after all, it's jungle. Like, who's going to find the tree? Well, who's looking for the tree to begin with? Because what he wants, nobody really else wants. He wants it for carving, so it's not really any good to anybody except him. You're not going to build a house out of this thing. He knew where the tree was. So, and usually they were fallen timber and stuff. But in the tropics, they don't seem to rot away. I don't know. Especially the mahogany. Of course, maybe that's why they use mahogany, because it doesn't rot. I don't know. I'm not familiar with the properties of the wood. But, and heavy. Oh, Jesus. Each one must weigh at least 60, 70 pounds. Each one. And I got 2 of them. Should have seen me trying to get her home on my suitcase. So, actually, I didn't. You know what? I'm telling you that. I didn't get her home in a suitcase. That was a bit of luck. There was these people decided they were going to return to Canada, who lived near where we lived. Didn't know them, but we knew somebody who knew them. And what they were doing was they were driving their vehicle back that they'd bought in Belize, which I don't know how they did that, but anyway, because they usually won't allow that. But they were doing that, so they were driving the vehicle back, and it was like a Ford 150 type of thing. So I said, this other woman, actually was the anthropologist I knew, said to me, well, they have room, you know, and they, believe it or not, they lived like just north of Toronto. So I said, could you ask them if they would consider taking this back for me? And, you know, the first thing that people say is, well, what exactly do you want to take back? Because people were worried about drugs and stuff like that. Well, it was obvious these were just masks. There was no way there was any drugs or anything like that. Because you can't be too careful, trust me. You never know. So, anyway, they looked at the mask and yeah, no problem. So I put them in a giant case, one of those huge oversized suitcases, and gave it to them and said, here. And as I said, they were about 40 miles north of Toronto, so I was going up to visit somebody, and I phoned them and said, okay, you know, I'd like to come by if I can, pick up the mask. They said, okay. And I drove up there and got them, and that's how I got them home. Because I don't know how I would have got them home on a plane, because you're only allowed 100 pounds, so maybe, I don't know how I would have done it. But anyway, it all worked out, right? I mean, that's the neat thing. It all works out. In San Francisco. Da, 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 So now I'm at the point where you adjust the highlight. You gotta just sort of play with it a bit. And fancy school. You got the little cable car On pathway to the star. Oh, da, 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 uh-huh, da, I was hoping to get to her eyes tonight, but it looks like I'm going to be finishing this off tomorrow night. Normally I just do them, but this particular night, I guess I just... Well, this is commission, so I'm being super. It's the likeness, so you got to be right on the money, right? So you can't play any game. The game has to be correct. There's no room for error, because it's either right or it's wrong. No in-betweens. And right now, I think I've got her skin toning just about where I want it. I know you're probably not picking up the detail. No, actually, probably maybe you are. Nice painting. A Spring Day by Frederick Calmorgan. Now there's an Englishman who could paint. Yeah, I leave my Chromecast on all the time. I got a big screen TV in here, and it puts up paintings. And jeez, do I ever like it? It's like having a mobile art gallery. You know? It's great. Ooh. Gonna move that over, right? Okay. And you come home to me, San Francisco. Your golden throne will shine for me.
Okay, it's not cold. Oh, it's nice.
Da 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 You know, this is like the first time I think I have ever done a portrait that people have seen before while I'm doing it. I was thinking about that earlier. I went, this is like the first time. I've never done this before. I'm not kidding. This is like, nobody's ever seen me do this. It's kind of weird when I think about it. It's sure a lot different than doing the gaming figures. Because there you can really just have a ball. You know? It's fun, fun, fun. You know? But with this, no. No. You've got to make it perfect. It must be perfect. If you come to me, San Francisco, will shine for me. you see? San Francisco. To you. Will shine for me and this. To you, San Francisco. Will shine for me. Go halfway to the stars. To you. Will shine for me. Can you see? San Francisco. To you, San Francisco. Well, folks, hate to stop this lovely, lovely time, but the eyes are starting to give out of me, and I don't want to start. On the blending until I get a few more coats down. And then I'll do the eyes and the mouth, etc. tomorrow night. Hopefully the hair. But I think our skin tone looks pretty good so far. I'm trying to get it so you can kind of see it. No. You just can't see it yet. Okay. Well, you can see it, but you can't see the subtle shades, and that's where the blending comes in with the blending stop. However, it's been a slice. It has been wonderful. I'm so happy to show you. And it is true. This is the first time I have ever drawn a portrait that somebody's actually seen me do it. I can't believe it, but I thought about it, and it's the first time. Unbelievable. 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 But all things must come to an end. So good night, all. Have a lovely evening. See you tomorrow night, 7 o'clock. Ciao.